Good morning, everyone. The morning after we are back. A back-to-back JK Subi duo day. Dion, I don't remember what time he said he's landing. He is either landed or en route to Chicago for the Illinois Purdue game. Or not Illinois Purdue, Illinois Michigan. Gosh, I'm making up. Purdue got a back-to-back apparently. So yeah, you get me and Subi again. I'm so sorry that we're giving you the scraps over here.
Damn.
I'm just kind
I know my place in the pecking order. That's fine.
Hey, I'm scraps too. This is Dion's show. I'm like number 4 on the chalking on the Dion power rankings.
No. JK is not scraps. Like JK is incredibly integral to this whole operation. Like the videos you guys love that get posted because of JK. That guy gets like we all just email him at all hours of the day and night. I am scraps, which is totally fine, but KYP, know your personnel. KYR, know your role.
I would say I think you're like prime. I'll say this especially because the shirt you have on right now. You're like prime Brock Holt. You're like the plug and play utility guy.
That's insane. Brock Holt. Dude, I'm not going to lie to you though, JK. I listened to about half of what you said because I've just been cackling at the comments already. Dude, the floodgates already open. These guys are like, have you ever been to Waste Management Open in Phoenix or like a Cowboys game, right? Where they always show the video of the fans just bull rushing once the gate opens. I feel like once we went live, it was just like all these fans trickling in.
Yeah, one thing that Dion and I have prided ourselves on is that we want this to be a safe space for all fans when their teams lose tough games, and that's exactly what last night was. I mean, we just have so much to get to. Like Principio, this is how you know it's going to be a good day. When it starts with "Good morning, I hate Purdue," and the response is "Good morning, Purdue hates you." We got to talk to me nice. I knew my boy Akil would be in here victory lapping, rightfully so. Big Sparty.
He's a Sparty fan?
Big Sparty. And he was in here when me and Dion were talking about it. And he knew we both picked him to win. Pick Purdue to win. We're getting a lot of Purdue is overrated, Purdue is frauds talk. There's just so much to get to here. Akil is saying I'm the random white podcast producer / host of every NBA podcast. I will gladly take that role.
Greg said he already claimed that after the whole dap up with Brandon. And we had posited or we thought that maybe he Braden thought he was Tommy Alter or something. It's like, why is Tommy Alter trying to dap me up?
Greg is definitely the white podcast co-host for the NBA player. There's no doubt. I'm convinced you put him on Podcast P and he's doing a better job.
I agree. That podcast stinks.
Tom talking Michigan, Illinois, which we will be getting to. That boy D Hill in the chat. He said, "My dogs, I ain't shit." Insane. Is the Running Boy podcast to blame? Oh man, don't even get me started down that rabbit hole. So obviously everyone that's in the chat right now knows Purdue 76 or Purdue 74, Michigan State 76. Purdue has a chance to win it. Had 3.6 seconds left. Ran an interesting play to say the least. I just first off, I want to say fans in the chat aside, what a game. I mean, just what a game. When you get a standalone college basketball game and the world is watching it, that's exactly you want. You want that. You need that. As a college basketball fan, I need people to see this sport and be like, oh man, I want to watch it. There's so much to get to here. Where do you want to start with this game?
It was a very, very fun matchup, and it lived up to the hype. I tweeted out, I think, when Michigan State was up 8 with about 4 minutes left. And honestly, Akil, this might be a Indian community we got. Let me dive in here. I tweeted out like, look, I did predict Purdue to win this game, but 7.5 was always egregious and it was always disrespectful to Tom Izzo. All right. So Akil, this is where I bring you in. Some nameless Twitter account named Darsh Patel reaches out to me. He's like, I don't know what game you're watching, dude. Like Michigan State's winning this one easy. They're down 8, or Purdue's down 8 with 4 minutes to go. And then things got spicy. Like Purdue hit a couple threes. Michigan State, Jackson Kohler. I love you, dude. We talked about it yesterday, but those successive threes that he took with the shot clock not winding down kind of left the door open as well. But to bring this full circle, JK, I was like this close to screenshotting and being like, oh, it was a layup for Michigan State because Purdue hypothetically just won. They didn't, but at least I got my lick back by saying, I know you were shitting your pants, Darsh. Like, I know you, because Purdue did have a chance to win that at the end. But really, JK, if I'm like putting on my serious hat here for a sec, I think this game was decided by points off of turnovers. Both teams played a relatively clean game, single-digit turnovers for both teams. However, the Spartans ended up with 19 points off of turnovers and Purdue only 5. 14-point delta. That's massive. Essentially, Michigan State took advantage of the turnovers they created and Purdue did not.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Points off, turnovers and points off are always going to be killers. Here's the problem. You really can't turn the ball over against a team that has Cohen Carr because it's going to be points and it's going to be electrifying plays that rally Purdue. And I got to give, like, Cohen Carr was insane last night. Like, dunking everything. I mean, it was just one of those games where, like you said, like, it was clean on both sides. There's no way you can look at that game and be like, officiating, like they didn't take anything, like they didn't try to make the game about them. It was a great, hard fought game. And I just thought that Purdue just they were sloppy in the worst times, and most of their turnovers were live ball. That's basically what it comes down to. Like, you got to have, if you're going to turn the ball over against Michigan State, it needs to be dead ball turnovers. But, man, I genuinely, the way that Purdue closed the first half, I felt really good about Purdue at halftime.
Yeah.
I really did. Like, the high pick and roll was working. Yeah, I think they turned it over once, maybe twice off the high pick and roll, but it was working. They were getting a lot of, like, TKR was slipping, making guys crash from the corner. So Fletch or someone would be wide open in the corner. I was like, oh my God, I like what Purdue's running here. They look good. And then about halfway, not even halfway, probably a little before halfway in the second half, I started to get some concern. And then they kind of did the comeback thing. And I was like, I don't know, man. It was a weird. I don't understand why Purdue continues to lose big games at home. Like, the Mackey thing is weird this year.
Oh, it's very weird. It might be. I mean, this is the first time they've lost 4 home games, I think, since like 1920 season. I think I saw that stat where I think they ended up losing 5 total. But yeah, my guy Christian Ojakshian, he had a funny tweet. It was Mackey Arena in the Big 2026, and it's that Kevin Garnett like Nets intro gift. That was kind of funny.
I saw it. I'm not gonna lie, like, and I promise I'm not trying to, like, make Purdue fans feel bad or anything, but the tweet was objectively hilarious. Like,
no, it was.
Dion even quoted it with, like, the laughing faces.
But what I will say is, I mean, truthfully, like, what started out as a joke, truthfully, it might be better that your single elimination basketball games now are not in Mackey Arena. I don't know. It's something very, very odd for sure. Something that we don't see very often. Hey, JK, can I get a pulse check on Fletcher Loyer? Now, I want to preface this real quick, Purdue fans, by saying I'm not part of the fan base. I'm not trying to bag on Fletcher. I'm also not trying to give him a pass. I genuinely want to know your thoughts on him because as I look at the trajectory of his career, it kind of seems like it's coming to one of those, man, I really don't want this to end on a sour note. Zach Edey, Braden Smith, those guys are untouchable. They can do whatever the hell they want for the remaining games. They're going to be regarded as legends. I wonder if Fletcher Loyer, I don't want to say is staining his legacy, but I wonder if some Purdue fans are just like, man, in 15 years, we're going to remember the last year or so. And the reason I bring that up is in this particular game, one particular play really stood out to me. It was the closeout at the end of half. And again, this was a 2-point game, right? So these margins matter. These plays matter. Closeout at the end of the game, 3-point shooter in the corner for Michigan State, or end of the half. 3-point shooter in the corner for Michigan State, and Fletcher Loyer just recklessly closes out. Like that wasn't even close to not being a foul, and it wasn't even close to being a smart play. I think that Sparty player went 2 of 3 from the line. Spartans win by 2. I'm not saying that's the game, but like that was a puzzling play. And then you look at his shooting.
Yeah. Fletcher, it's tough because for starters, I completely agree with what Hyena is saying in the chat. Like, Fletcher hitting 3 or more threes is super important to this team. I agree. When he does hit 3 or more threes, hard to beat. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things where I struggle, and there's just no way to say this, like in a way that doesn't sound crazy negative, but it's not. It's just the truth. I struggle with guys who don't give you anything when their shot isn't falling. Like Fletch isn't giving you much as a playmaker. I mean, yeah, he does create a lot of gravity with his shooting, off ball, moving. I get that, but he's not an A. He's a what? C- defender, maybe a D plus. He's not going to be out there playing. It's just when he's not hitting shots, it's really hard. And I understand why he has to be out there. He's a freaking senior who's been through all the bumps. He's been in every moment. Like he's Braden's guy. Like he's one of the big 3. But it's just hard because it's like, why? That's my point, Rick, is especially because Omer's been playing great. And I think Cox has been pretty good. Like, I know the percentages are fine for Fletcher, but like, when it's like, why not have Omer out there? He's bigger. He's like, he provides a little more besides the shooting. He can create more. He gives you a second creator out there. I understand there's like a pecking order, kind of like this goes back to Subi's initial comments on the pod. There's a pecking order, and Fletcher's very high in it, but there comes a point where like things have to be. You get what I'm saying here? I understand why it's hard, and I know Fletcher's taller, but I bet Omer has to weigh 30 more pounds.
Here's my thing, and this is a learning experience for me, honestly. Like I'm viewing this from the outside looking in, where I would be like, yeah, he shot well from a percentage standpoint. Again, that personal foul to me was egregious, but I don't know. I figured I'd need more production out of Fletch in terms of point production. He only had finished with 8 in a big time matchup, and you're a veteran. So if Purdue fans, and I genuinely am not saying this tongue in cheek. If Purdue fans are saying, no, this was up to par, this is fine, we just needed to win other areas, fair enough. Then I've misjudged what the expectations should be for Fletcher Loyer. And it would come as a surprise to me, but I'm happy to recalibrate and adjust my thinking. I just think I thought the bar was higher for Fletcher Loyer. And again, I'm not trying to sound like an ass, but like, 3 of 7 from the night. It's a good shooting percentage. He finishes with 8. Fine. If you're cool with that, then I'm cool with it too.
Yeah, no, I get that. And I think that is part of what makes it hard like, I just think this all comes back to the same thing, which is that there was an expectation for Purdue before this year. And I want
number one coming in.
Yeah, well, and it's like I want to preface this by saying, like, before anyone gets upset or whatever, this is not trashing Purdue, because I still think Purdue is a really good team. I still think they're a top 15 team, but they're just not. They're just not the title contending favorite that we thought they were, and that's okay. I think that, like, perception is making it, like, harder for people to come to terms with some of the flaws that this team has. But, like, they just do have clear flaws. And I want, like, that does not mean they can't make a tournament run. They can. They have the individual talent and personnel to do it 100%. But there's just, we've seen time and time again, like, some flaws. And I just, like, it's just tough, because I'm thinking about last night, and like you said, like, if that's the expectation for Fletcher, then that's fine. Like, that's not really, that's on the fans and everyone to decide. Yeah, but that's the thing, Rick. If you're gonna be preseason number one, and you're gonna be the preseason favorite, yes, people will make a bigger deal out of your flaws. That's just what comes with it. Like, people expect you guys to be title contenders. We all do and did. Some probably don't now. But, like, that's just the reality of being the number one the preseason number one and title favorite in the sport. Like, it just comes with it. And you're going to get looked at under a microscope.
For sure. And I think what's also contributing to that is that we've seen 3 to 4 teams kind of just play at a massively elite level. Like, Michigan's kind of breaking KenPom at this point, right? There's Duke's obviously amazing. I think Arizona's been playing amazing. So you couple that with some of Purdue's struggles, you're going to get that rhetoric. JK, we can come back to Purdue. You can lead the show. We can keep chatting about Purdue if you want, but I think we should implement a few thoughts on Michigan State. To the victor go the spoils, man. Yeah. Like, I feel like we haven't talked about Michigan State and how they won this game. I just, from my notes, I'll start with Kurtang. Did you account for him pouring in 13 points on 50% shooting?
I absolutely did not. Big shots too, like
big shots,
like major shots. I thought, like, and I think, like, this is what impresses Izzo so much with me. I looked at that game last night, and all I could think to myself was, like, this dude is squeezing every last ounce out of this team. Do you agree with that?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that's what he does. Yeah.
It's just like, it doesn't make sense, because they're getting stuff from guys that you would just never in a million years fathom would be playing legitimate serious minutes. And then I don't know, man. To me, that also kind of feels like when a guy like Izzo has some crazy streak, like, that hasn't won in X amount of times in Mackey, in the back of my head, I'm always like, he's due. So
go ahead.
I don't know. It's just like, he's not going to. It's just Izzo, man. He really does amaze me. Like, he's ridiculous.
All-timer.
Oh, yeah.
Dang. Deion saying both teams missing the second weekend anyway. I don't know if that's true.
I think one of them will make it.
That's what I mean. And I'd put my money right now on Michigan State, I think. But yeah, Kurtang was awesome. How about Carson Cooper? His development is crazy. Dude, by the way, like the rims were getting assaulted in Mackey by Spartans. Like you talked about Cohen Carr for sure, but Carson Cooper, what did he do? A little spin move, found himself under the hoop, and then just took his long ass arms and threw it down for an and one. I did not know Carson Cooper had that in his game, but you talk about squeezing every last drop out of these players for sure over the course of a season. Yes, JK, but over the course of a career and the development, I think they even mentioned on the broadcast, like Jackson Kohler, big reason why he came to Michigan State is because he just wanted to leave a grown-ass man, right?
Yeah.
From the program. And so, yeah, there's that personal development. But Carson Cooper, his offensive and just his game development, he's not just a couple of fouls, a big body, right? Like he's a bit of a force now that you have to take into account. He was sensational in this game.
Yeah, and I think Akil said it in the chat, but like, man, I got to give ups to Cam Ward too, because Izzo had the interview. It was either Wednesday or Tuesday when he was doing his rounds about this game, the preview aspect of it. And he was talking about how Cam Ward is one of the guys he needed more from, and that he felt since Ward's injury, he didn't have the same relentlessness that he had early in the year that made him so special. He answered the call. He was pretty freaking relentless last night. Like he was everywhere, and he challenged them, and that's the sign. Challenging them is only one part. When they answer the challenge, that's the trademark of a great coach. And man, it's crazy. It really is. And then the hilariousness of Izzo going to the podium after and saying he forgot that Devon Ugachukwu wasn't healthy. He's just hilarious, man. And yeah, I don't know how to feel about this, because I will be the first to admit, like, I was in here with Dion and we were talking about how we don't think Michigan State's that good. And I still kind of feel that way. That doesn't mean they're bad. I just don't think they're like great. And to me, this was kind of like the way Purdue could solidify themselves as like, all right, we've got Michigan, we've got Illinois. Like, if we beat Michigan State, this will solidify us as like at least kind of like we talked about the other day, the Big 12 and the Big 10, the top halves of the conference. This would solidify Purdue as like that top 3 spot, and they couldn't do it. And Akil makes the scary point, which is that, like, the 4 biggest games they played were at home, and they lost all of them.
Yep.
And I do understand what Rick said earlier when we talked about this. Hey, good thing the tournament's played on the road. Very, very true. I get that. For sure. But like, you can take the silver lining if you want about like MSU won by 2. They played their A+ game. Purdue played their, but like, how many times do we have to see Purdue play the quote unquote C+ game before it just becomes who they are?
Purdue played their C+ game. Are you sure? They shot really well from 3. They generated a ton of second chance points. They played a clean game in terms of turnovers. Like, they got it handled a little bit in the paint. I don't think that a C+ game. Like, I thought Purdue played pretty darn well. All right. Sometimes you just lose to a team that was better on the night. And
Aina said, look at what I said. He basically just said it right as we were saying. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's fine. Sorry.
He basically said exactly what we just said. 3 to 4 days, I heard that from 4 different losing teams. They played their best game and still barely lost.
Yeah. Look, break it down however you want. Michigan State earned this victory. And whether or not I'm a long-term believer in them, I'm not quite sure, but these are two teams that could be difficult to diagnose, right, JK? There's two avenues when you're picking brackets. It's, hey, the devil on my shoulder is telling me Purdue lost 4 of their biggest home games, right? Don't take them far. The angel on my shoulder is like, Braden Smith's still one of the best point guards. I mean, he may not have been up to snuff last night, but do you want to bet against Braden Smith and Matt Painter, a team that we were talking about like this last year, and they took the national runner-up to the edge, right, on an inbounds play? So that's the beauty of March Madness. That's the beauty of brackets, right? These things could be hiding in plain sight, or you can be like, you know what, I'm going to disregard all this stuff, and they're going to go on a run. I don't know. It comes down to matchups, I suppose.
Now, I will say this. In terms of March.
By the way, real quick, I do agree with Rick there. Braden overpassed on 4 or 5 different layups. Yes. Like he's way more dangerous just like playing regular as opposed to trying to be like Rondo, getting 20 plus assists. I agree with that. Sorry, JK, go ahead.
No, you're fine. Akil kind of said it earlier, and he just kind of said it again. Like he's been very passive in some of these games. Like at the end of the day, I understand he's a great passer. He is their facilitator. He runs the offense, but like I want to see Braden hunting for 20 in these big games. Like because we saw that stretch of the year where he was doing that, and Purdue looked like I like the way they look. I'm not saying he needs to force. I don't want it to be confused with he needs to force. But like sometimes you just gotta take over like in other ways. Like, and Braden can score.
Oh, yeah, absolutely can. I fear putting this like you have to do that or I want you to hunt for it, because I think Braden is so polished and he's such a brilliant basketball player that what is given to him, he will take. Now, on those drives, right, a layup was given to him, but so was a kick out, I suppose. He chose the kick out when I think I'd rather it be like, hey, take that layup. But I don't want him to be like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and get mine right now, because that's what the moment calls for. I think he should just keep playing to his instincts.
Yeah. I mean, I guess my thing is like, it is hard. It's the same age-old problem that Jokic is always like, people always clown Jokic for, where they're like, he needs to try to score more in certain situations. He always wants to make the right basketball play. I think Braden has that to him as well. But my problem last night is exactly what George Spiker just said in the chat. There was multiple times where he got like Cooper switched on to him or guys switched on to him. Like, I need him to take advantage of that matchup. Like, and because I know he can. It'd be different if I did feel like he was a super limited scorer or something like that. But man, like, I genuinely think that he's going to get the assist naturally. I genuinely think that this team is better when he's taking 15 shots instead of 10.
Yeah. I look, Braden's going to be fine. I trust him. You have to trust a guy like that, right? Like, you don't really have a choice.
Yeah.
And that's not to say like, oh, I got to just put blind faith in him. It's not blind, right? Like, he's shown plenty of times that he's great and his greatness can shine in the NCAA tournament, but you can't dip out on him after like maybe a rough homestand.
Yeah.
Like for his team. What was I going to bring up though? JK, shoot. I just forgot. I'm just going to punch this in there. Both benches were pretty good in this game.
Yeah.
I like both benches. A lot of contributions across the board.
Yeah. Omer is starting to become a much more integral piece for Purdue. And then I feel like I want to see his minutes slightly start to uptick. And then with Michigan State, they just have ton of psychos that they can bring in off the bench to just absolutely wreak havoc. Like, they just have so many Izzo guys. Yeah, I do agree with the Purdue fans' criticism of Jacobson. He's got a lot of growing to do. He was, people are going to point to the Cohen Carr stuff. Cohen Carr's a freak athlete. He's going to catch you at some point. But, like, to be that tall, his frame is just so slender. He struggles. Like, he struggles around the rim a lot. That's the biggest thing, Hyena. Like, if he gets post position, the hands just aren't there. Like, on the slips, the hands, like balls that TKR and Pluff are catching, DJ's not going to catch. And that's what makes it really difficult.
Yeah. I mean, look, he's still a little young.
Yeah, he's young.
But at some point, that's got to turn the corner. But I understand that. Hey, here's a question for you, though, JK, and the chat as well. That last play, right? The last little sequence with Purdue, ATO, right? So Painter calls a timeout with, I think, 3 seconds left. Izzo calls a timeout after the players take the floor. Little cat and mouse game there. What we end up with is a challenged Braden Smith shot. And this isn't like, that's probably the best you're going to get for the most part, with about 3 to 4 seconds left. I'm curious to know if you think that was their first option, or if that was initially drawn up before Izzo took his first timeout. Did Izzo just completely zap and vaporize whatever Painter wanted to get to? I'm curious to know, like, we can even go a little fan fiction here. What would you have done? What did we all see, I suppose? Because at the end, like, Braden got a solid shot off, drew rim, drew backboard, fine. But I can't imagine it was, hey, get the ball to Braden, let him go one-on-one. Maybe it was. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely thought that was the play got blown up, so give it to our best player and see if he can figure something out, for sure. I don't think that was the exact set they wanted. That being said, and I'm not just saying this to be – actually, the Celtics aren't the only team that do this, but I feel like we never see it in college. Why does no one in college ever run the, like, put your best player on the complete other side of the court and get them going downhill with a screen? Why does no one in college do that? It works in the NBA, like, every time.
They didn't have to get him going on a screen, but Donovan Dent literally went downhill against
Illinois. That was just, well, that's another conversation. But, yeah, you got 3.6 seconds. That's enough time to get the ball to Braden in a position where he can receive a screen from TKR and make one. Like, there was time. And I just feel like that was a moment where Izzo just won the coaching battle. And that's fine. Like, it's Tom Izzo. So it's going to happen from time to time. It's all I felt like it was. Now, I would have wanted those exact, and I know it's crazy because we just talked about this, but I would have wanted the exact thing they were running in the first half that was working, which was a high screen from TKR. He slips, and then Braden has 3 options. Attack the mismatch, hit the slip, or the guy from the corner over helps, and you get a wide open 3 out of it. That's what I would have liked to see them run.
Hummel mentioned it, like they were getting anything they wanted in the first half in the pick and roll game,
and they just didn't. And that's like, it'd be different if they only had 1.5 seconds, but like 3.6, you got enough to run like a legitimate set if everyone's actually doing their part. So
yeah,
I don't know. It was interesting. Now, that being said, like the look they got, I still, like, as it was in the air, it was like, oh my God, this might go in.
Yeah, I wanted to tweet at Darsh Patel, dude. I wanted to get my look back after someone 2-stepping with 4 minutes to go, only up 8. Like, this is college basketball, man. Anything can happen. Real quick to the comments, JK, Rick. I understand. Like, I'm not mad at Braden for taking the shot. That's not what I'm implying whatsoever. Like, yeah, you have to take that shot there. And if you think Braden Smith's a damned if you do, damned if you don't in terms of like what he saw at UCLA, that stinks. Like I trust Braden Smith to make the right play. I'm not calling him out on that. Tominator brings up a very good point, and I thought about this in live action. He said Foster. Fletcher Loyer holding the ball during the run out was the issue and forced the timeout. It was given to Braden. If it was given to Braden, he probably goes and makes a bucket at the rim. I don't think I got a camera angle on the missed free throw from Michigan State where, like, obviously Fletch came down with it, but was Braden able to be in an outlet position? Was Fletch able to get the ball? A lot's going through your mind right then. At the very least, you got to get it up over half court, right? Obviously, ball doesn't advance. So I think Fletch maybe wanted to get going up court, and I think that's when Payne saw the ball was in Fletch's hand and not really going anywhere, where he was like, timeout, timeout. But you're right. Like in an ideal pie in the sky world, you clear that rebound and you get it to your point guard and let him cook. But I totally agree with Tominator. Like it's very, very minuscule, very small, but the guy who gets the rebound at that point, you're just like, Braden, where are you at? If not, I got to go. So I don't blame Fletcher a ton. You just work with the circumstances that you're in.
For sure. All right. You guys got your 35 minutes of Purdue talk. So now we must move on to some weekend previews, especially the big one tonight. Michigan, Illinois. This is for Tominator too, big Michigan guy. Michigan, Illinois. Just absolutely massive game. It can't be overstated how massive this game is. At Illinois is in a weird spot after the UCLA loss. It's going to be an all-timer, I think. You've got good front courts. You've got Keaton against this defense. You've got this game just has so much individual talent. That being said, I think Illinois is really good, although they've had some blunders this year. It's just really hard for me to not see Michigan winning this game.
They've honestly just shown me so much, man.
They have. And especially with like they only won by 10 against Minnesota. Like, then they just lost. Like, they are looking to show, like, I think there's a world in which defensively Illinois just is not ready for this, and this could be like a 10 to 15 point Michigan win.
I don't know if I'd go that far. Here's what I'll say though about the Michigan-Minnesota game. I don't know what you guys expect and what you think the bar is. These teams, like Michigan, how many 40-point wins do they have this season? That's more than like programs in the entirety of their history, right? Like the point that I'm making is you can't beat the bag out of every single team, every single game. And you can't beat Duke by 8, like you lose. That's okay. And then it took Wisconsin hitting 1 billion threes in your barn. Them's be the breaks sometimes. So that kind of goes into my calculus of, man, I've seen this Michigan team do it in big time spots, high leverage spots. And yeah, you lost to Duke, man. Okay, on a neutral. That's arguably the best team in the entire damn country with the National Player of the Year. You ran into a Wisconsin team who, by the way, if you and Illinois want to have like a therapy session about getting cooked by Wisconsin, go for it. Maybe that'll be the post-game handshake line. Illinois' offense is so much fun. But, gosh, they just have a little bit of these lapses, JK, that you cannot have against Michigan, because they'll exploit it. Like, you can't give up a 20-point lead in Pauley against UCLA and have a massive breakdown. And then I can't in good conscience take you against Michigan. Like, I can't do it. And I've seen Michigan do it on the road, do it at home. Timbuktu, doesn't really matter.
Hey, you said that. They said you said that last week versus Duke. You love picking Michigan, referring to me. I do love picking Michigan because if I picked them every single time they played, I'd have a pretty good record this year picking them.
That's true.
The difference between Duke and Illinois, look, I hate Duke, obviously, but like the difference between Duke and Illinois, you got to give Duke their flowers. Duke is elite, the best defensive team in the country. And that is a fact. They're at the worst, they're top 3. That's what you need to beat Michigan. You got to have the front court personnel, which Illinois does have, but then you also have to be able to defend, and that's where I worry with Illinois. Now, there is a world where Illinois scores like 95 points and somehow wins this game, but they're not going to be able to hold Michigan in the 60s like Duke just did. And I think that's where the difference is. Like, I just think that you got to have a certain type. I'm going to stand by the fact that I think there's only 3 teams that can beat Michigan. And that is, well, when it matters, because Wisconsin already beat them. And that is Duke, and that is Arizona, and that is Florida. That's the 3. Illinois is at home. This is true. And I might be a little hyperbolic saying that Michigan's going to win by 10 or 15, but like, they didn't play great against Duke. They lost. They didn't play great against Minnesota. This is just like, they seem like the type of team that gets pissed off when they would play 2 bad games in a row. And yeah, Michigan has also not lost a true road game this year. Did not know that, Tom. I mean, they only have 2 losses, so really not that surprising, but
it's still pretty.
I keep forgetting the Wisconsin one was at Michigan.
It was. Yep.
Which is crazy to me.
I mean, Wisconsin's terrifying, but I've also suffered 2 straight Elite 8 losses to them. Like, if it was Jack the Ripper under a flickering streetlight in the rain and like Frank Kaminsky or like Greg Gard or Bucky Badger, I'd go to Frank or Jack the Ripper. But this particular game, here's what I'll say. Like, I'm focused on the turnovers and the free throws. Illinois shoots their free throws very well, nearly 80%. So anytime Michigan puts them on the line, I expect Illinois to hit them. Turnovers. Illinois is a clean offense. They don't turn the ball over very often. So how can you capitalize off of the turnovers that you do create? Maybe if you're Michigan, this is going to be a tall ask for sure, but I can't pick against Michigan right now just based on what we've seen like throughout the entire season. Man, their body of work is just so dang strong. Yeah, it's tough. And honestly, also JK, they see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? They got a little taste. They've clinched a share of the Big Ten title, but I think this is a moment for them to sort of sprint through the tape, right? Rack up another strong victory and just sprint through the tape with this one.
Yeah. Only world or only thing that I see Illinois being able to do that could swing the game is I think Boswell can really take Cadeau out of the game in terms of getting him in his head. Because Boswell does the physical defense thing as good as anyone. And we saw what that did to Cadeau last week. Granted, that being said, Cadeau sees ghost against Duke. He's never going to play good against Duke. I've seen it a million times. But I like Boswell. He could rough him up a little bit, and I don't know, man. Michigan's just terrifying. It's really all it comes down to for me.
Kylan's my dog. I agree with Seth Gecko, by the way. He wrapped it up beautifully. If you make Mick Cronin look confident, no way I'm backing you against Michigan. Fair. Yeah, that's kind of my rationale as well. Real quick, JK, maybe to piss off Michigan fans here, and Greg might come at me too. I would add UConn at their top gear could beat Michigan.
The Terrace Reed revenge game?
By the way, Merez Johnson too. I don't want to pivot immediately, but look, man, UConn, there's still something in there. All right. That's all I'm saying. And you can come for me. You can call me a coastal elite New Englander. That's fine. I'm not discounting them.
Last thing, I always got to let you end on this because it's your squad. Zona, Kansas. How we feeling?
I want revenge, baby. I'll leave you with a stat here, JK. So I think Arizona is going to win this game by 7, but I'll leave you with a stat. Jamari McDowell, me and Riley did this. His shooting splits at home from 3, he shoots, I think, 48% from 3. On the road, he shoots 9% from 3. So JK, let Jamari McDowell hit a 3 in Tucson. You see what wrath I will raise, because it's not supposed to happen. So if I don't care about the result. If Jamari McDowell hits a 3 in McHale Center, I'm jumping into Lake Michigan. Go Cavs. Go down.
I think Arizona's going to win this. Like, here's the thing about Kansas, man. You got to realize it's an ebb and flow. They got their one big win over Houston on Monday. So now they're going to lose their next big game. It's like a pattern. They do it every time.
Look, man, as long as the calendar says it's not Monday and the venue is not in Lawrence, I feel pretty good.
Yep. I agree, Seth. Merez overs. Big petty revenge game. Merez for 15 plus. I'm assuming his line's probably like 13.5 or something. Smash them. Going to be an elite weekend for hoops. Purdue fans. Oh, wait, Seth asked one more question. Virginia or Duke? I think Duke.
I kind of dismissed this one. I like what Ryan Odom's doing. I like what the Cavs are doing. This is a massive step up in weight class. Blue Devils.
I mean, I watched Virginia choke a game against us at home in which they were up. Like, we had just came off of the West Coast trip. Yeah, we beat Notre Dame before, but we had just came off of the West Coast trip. We looked horrible. We're down 9 at the half. We get down like 11 or 12 in the game. We come back and win at Virginia. Yeah, give me Duke.
Tominator, I'm sorry for shoehorning UConn in there, man. Let's grab a cup of coffee. We'll chat through it. I like this. We're all very civil here.
Yeah, 100%. Going to be an elite weekend for hoops, though. Purdue fans, we're always here for you. We'll be back Monday if you guys need to do any more venting or anything. Michigan State fans, have a nice weekend celebrating. And, yeah, we will see you guys on Monday. Don't know what Deion's status will be. Have no clue when he's flying back. I think he gets back like 1 a.m. Sunday. So he might be here. He might not. Until then, we're out.